Right. So now we talk about these three examples. These three fellows are, they want to have well in their garden, in their vatta. So the first man is a very educated man. He is a very skilled guy. What he did, he hired one engineer to dig a well. So they brought up with a lot of equipments, instruments, measuring tools, and then they dig the well like this. Very beautiful. So, in a concrete way, concreted and cement, and then very beautifully well is done. Second man is just a farmer, neighbor. He is not educated. He is just a farmer. He went to his vatta. He is went to the mammoty, and then he digged a well like this. Third guy also same like A. He also have skill and knowledge and everything. He digged the well as well in this way. So this is known as the work. This is what you call work of the three people. So this is work. Next we will check the results. When you check the results for the work of A, no water at all. After completing this much beautiful well, there nothing. But for this man, full of water. Yeah, full of water, and for him also full of water. Now, going back to this definition here, doing things right and doing right things. Now, doing things right, when you wanted to dig a well, you need to dig it in the way the engineer does. So, you need to bring an engineer, measure it, and then do it beautifully. So, he did it in an efficient way. Do you understand me? But, is it effective? What he want at the end of the day, what these people need? Water. But this Mr. A has water? No. So, has he done doing right thing? No. He did not do the right thing. So, that is not effective. You understand me? So, that's the first scenario. Second scenario, has he done doing the digging the well in the way they wanted? No. So it is not efficient, but very effective. You understood the difference between these two? Now the third scenario, it is he is both efficient and effective. When some activity is both efficient and effective together, we call it productive. That's productive. Understood? So please remember the difference between efficiency and effectiveness is like this. Okay? So you should never forget this whenever it happens to talk about in the future. Is that clear now? So efficiency, sometimes public sector is more efficient than private sector. Again, it's in the books only. I don't know whether is it that efficient in any of the public sector, but maybe in Qatar, probably. Qatar government hospitals are.
They do right.
Yeah, they do much. They do things in the right way. But in other countries, especially our countries, so disadvantages of public sector: accountability. Now let's say you go to Kacheri, and then you have some work to be done. You have already requested or made a file, and this file need to be completed, and then some letter or permission or something to come. You go and ask Mr. A. He says, that's not me, it's not me, to go and talk to B. He says, no, not to me, go and talk to C. So this fellow will be kept on rounding with different people. No one is there to take up the ultimate responsibility. Even in government hospitals, sometimes you do surgery and the patient dies. No single doctor is there to accept the final responsibility. In Akolna, one lady was delivery through a surgery, cesarean. I think you all heard like 2 or 3, 4 years before story. They left a blade inside her bladder and then they stitched. And it started bleeding and then finally she died. And later no one is there to take up the blade. Perishing hospital.
So this accountability now it is happening because of the officers who work.
Yeah, of course.
But the system is there.
System is there, but people are not there to finally take up the blame, responsibility. No one is ready to. If rosy scenario comes, everyone will be on the front to say that it's because of me. It's adverse scenario only, people are not ready to take up the blame. There's a saying, when you're pointing out like this, these 3 fingers are pointing you. So that mentality is not there with the people to accept that it is me who made the mistake. It's not you all. No one says that. Correct? So that's one problem. Second problem is interference. Now, I don't know, you all remember Mahawali project. Mahawali project originally started with UNP government. Gamini Disanayaka. And that was going very well. But in between he got assaulted and then he died. And someone else started to continue the Mahawali project. But again, they cancelled all what they have done. They started from the zero again. So they just want to, this was a very pathetic example is that even in a simple small school principal, when the principal changes or a teacher changes, then he started everything from the beginning. Then the amount of time they taught, amount of money they spend, no one bothers. There is a huge interference in administration would take place in these public sector activities. So, and the cost. Conflict between economy of operation and adequacy of service. Providing a near perfect service will be prohibitively expensive. So, sometimes they, for the sake, they will do. But they don't really do the cost benefit analysis. It will be very expensive. It is even better to hand over that to private sector. But they will not give. Because to maintain that prestige and stuff like that. Non-NGOs, non-governmental organizations. Key facts, bodies not directly linked to national government. No commercial aim, at least as they say. Social, political or environmental change as it's in. Now I will give you one example. I don't know, I discussed about, did I spoke about Ratnapura tea factory story? In Ratnapura area there is tea plantations. These are owned by small tea plantation holders, not the larger scale, smaller scale. And the labourers who work there, their lifestyle, mostly in tea estate who live, these Hindu Tamil people now, their houses are very poor. So especially those labourers' houses.
We discuss what are they doing?
Yes, what are they doing? So what I want to say here, so this is one NGO activity. So their aim is not to make profits. Their aim is a social aim. Understand? So not necessarily charities. It is not charity also. I will give you another example. Now, there's one NGO in Sri Lanka. These days, what they do, they fund to this. We talked about what you call venture capitalists. We discussed
Yeah, we
about
discussed
that.
that.
So this concept. So they invest. So it's not charity. They invest on business, and they see that the business is growing.
Then they take that.
Later, after 3 years, 5 years, they take it. So that is also one of their not political parties, despite sometimes having political aims. There is no political parties involved, but they will try to get some benefits. Raise funds and resources, donations, volunteer labor. Now, Olympic, what do you call this, FIFA 2022, they are hiring people. Everywhere there is staff recruiting,
Yeah.
and they are volunteering. And the arrangement is different. It's not like an employee relationship. So those are. Then what are the organizational features? Staffing by volunteers as well as full-time paid employees. Sometimes you will have paid employees also, but mostly volunteers. Finance from grants and or contracts. So the money that to operate the business is either grant from different entities or bodies or countries, or sometimes you have contracts to perform certain things and then you receive funds. Skills in advertising and media relations. They are good in that. They will create a very good media, strong media relationship with different connected entities and activities. Some kind of national headquarters they will have. Now, for example, if you look into Sri Lanka, Colombo will have a headquarters. But they will have a lot of activities everywhere. Jaffna, Betigalo, Martale, down south, Ammanduta, Beerwala.
So, in short, what is their NGO's main objective? What they want to
They
achieve?
are just simply to uplift the social and environmental status of the public.
Okay.
That's
The
the
interest.
yeah. That's the main planning and budgeting expertise. In other words, an efficient level of organization structure similar to commercial organizations. They will have a better structure because a lot of skilled people will be involved there. UNICEF is one good example of one NGO. I hope you all know what the UNICEF is, right?
Yeah.
Cooperative societies and mutual associations. Cooperatives are business owned by their workers or customers who share the profits. Now, sometimes if you go to Kacheri, you will see there's a nice term in Sinhala that shop they sell things like a canteen or I forget the term in Sinhala. It is to benefit the members of the employees of that body. So it will be run by them, it will be funded by them, and the profits are distributed by them only. So this is one scenario they talk about.
I think we have cooperative supermarkets there.
Yes. Now MPCS, multi-purpose cooperative societies, and Mini Coop. Have you seen Mini Coop in Sri Lanka now? In our villages, you will see like a very small level hypermarket concept. They are I had been one of the auditors for like 10 different Mini Coops, especially during Corona time. They have sold items at a subsidized price. Potato, dal, garlic, and one more item, rice. So these 4 items, government has given a very subsidized price to these Mini Coops. So we had been asked to go as auditors to confirm that these in fact being priced at that level, and we had to vouch the invoices, some special activity we performed. So Subhasadaka Sangame, that's a word in Sinhala.
Yes,
So this type of activity is what I am referring here.
And this belongs to, it's by government, right?
Yeah, it's part of government, yes. So now this mini courts and MPCS, cooperative societies, all are part of it. Open membership, everyone can be member. Coupon, that
Yeah.
you have experience purchasing from cooperative?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cooperative.
You go and wait in the queue and then you go like a small piece of a ticket. Yeah, that lady or
Now
man
we'll
will-
face. Now we going to face.
Yes. That's a CIMA Madanaka's regime that was highly used. And especially some items, no, it is not available anywhere else except cooperative societies. I remember my mother telling me when I am a baby, for me to get milk, we are from Akurana, my father goes to Navalapitiya and he stay in the queue in one of the cooperative shops there and he gets, because he is a teacher, government teacher. Otherwise they will not give also. So I hope it should not come that in Sri Lanka soon. So democratic control, one member, one vote. And distribution of surplus in proportion to purchases. So if you are a member, you keep on buying and the business profit generates, so you get a share of profit. And promotion of education. So these are some provides a range of services owned by 7.2 members, not shareholders. So this is in UK. Cooperative.coop about you can read if you want later. Mutual associations. Similar to cooperatives as they are owned by members rather than outside investors. Credit unions are examples of mutual associations. These are financial institutions owned and controlled by their members. Like chit funds. Now, that's informal, no? Now, when I am a childhood, when I go to school, in our class, they used to, one guy used to have a chit fund, 2 rupees. 2 rupees per day. Every day you have to give 2 rupees and then end of the month, one guy is getting bulk amount. And so that is happening everywhere now, the ladies doing, and then now these huge business people also do this.
Yeah. Day-to-day collection.
So this is credit, this mutual association or mutual funds are one example. Chit is one example of that. Stakeholders. Who are these stakeholders? Have you come across the word stakeholder before?
Today morning.
This morning.
We asked the question.
Stakeholder is different to shareholder or stockholder. Sometimes some people use the word stockholder. It's not actually stockholder, shareholder. Shareholder is the owner of the business. But the stakeholder is much different to shareholder. Okay, now since you discussed, tell me who are these stakeholders?
Stakeholders are the person who connected to that activity.
Connected to that activity. Any different interpretation?
Stakeholders who connected and affected
Yes.
this activity.
Now we talk about this running ACCA class. Class is happening here. Okay? Now let's bring the terms you all said. Connected to this activity. So then students, you all are stakeholders. Teachers, stakeholder. Owner of this building, he also stakeholder. And then employees who are managing these premises, stakeholders. And the tenant who obtained these premises, owner is the one who built and owning the property, and the owner of this particular space, tenant, he also stakeholder. The Lanka Majlis restaurant,
Becomes stakeholder.
that also is stakeholder. You know, okay, anyway, stakeholders are parties who have parties who have legitimate interest in the business activities. You know, both of your wife. Do they have? Are they stakeholders or not?
Yes.
They also stakeholders. They are very legitimately have interest on what time you're going to come. Okay, if you're late by 10 or 15 minutes, that entire day is finished. So, broadly speaking, many different members will become stakeholders of any given business. Now, running a sawmill in our village. Let's say you are running a sawmill in your village, in your village. Then this sawmill will create so much of different stakeholders. Some people are who are against running the sawmill. Too much disturbance and they create a problem. They also become a stakeholder and different others. So anyhow, stakeholders are categorized into, anyway, definition is this, and then categorized into how many headings? Stakeholders are divided into.
Three?
Yeah, tell me what are those?
Internal, connected, and external.
You are looking at the. No.
Is this the one?
Yeah, okay. You could categorize the stakeholders in two ways. One way, as you said, that is where based on the connectivity. Okay? The connectivity scenario, you could divide the stakeholders in three different categories. One is internal, purely internal to the entity. The other one is, what do you think? Obviously, they are outsiders. And in between there is a group. They are known as connected. They are not internal, but they are also not purely external, but they are sort of have certain connections with the business. So, in this way, we could categorize the stakeholders into three headings. So, who are internal now? Now, you forget about the stakeholders and this concept. Just tell me, when you take an organization, immediately what example of the group of people comes to your mind who are internal?
Owners,
And employees.
The organization, employees, staff, shareholders.
You telling me a lot of lists now. Okay. Among all of this, what is the topmost?
Shareholder. Owner.
You think shareholder is always within the organization? This is what you think?
managers.
Before we talked about, shareholders are outsiders. Managers are inside.
Yeah.
Did you remember we discussed that?
Yes.
Although they are the investors, they are the owners of the business who are operating and managing the business, in a majority of the scenario, they are not the case. It's who managing it? The managers. Understand me?
It's too cold.
Okay, switch off. So this is a stakeholder conflict. We'll talk about it later. So shareholders are not internal. Now think and tell me. Okay, from Doha point of view. Okay, let's talk about your company point of view. Is your owner every day sitting in your company?
No.
But your tea boy, is he sitting every day in the company?
Yes.
T-boy is what, how do you call from that organization point of view, he's what? Who is he for the employee? So the main category of stakeholder who is internal is employee. Understand me? Without employee, there's no organization. Owner can have a CR, yes. He can have 25 CR and then keep it beautifully in his home. But to realistically running an organization, he cannot do it alone, he needs employees. Correct? So therefore, one of the example is employees. Is that clear? Faham kalam? Understood? Good. Second category. They also, sometimes you could think as employees, but they have some additional special privileges. They are employees, but have special privileges. They are known as management. Not every employees are management, but all management people are employees. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So these are the only two categories of people who are internal. Okay, now let's try to understand external. So the remaining group will be connected. Right or not? So one of the external category of stakeholder will be, I hope you all know these people, pressure group. Any idea who are these pressure group people? No?
Yeah.
And Sri Lanka slaughtering cow.
Society.
Gavaga. You can't do that. Everywhere they speak about it. And then issue of halal. And here in Doha also, if you remember Denmark, issue that when Prophet Muhammad's cartoon has become an issue. So these, and also slaughtering trees. Everywhere, Sri Lanka or in any part of the world, slaughtering tree became an issue. In India, there is one group called you cannot grow but green society or something. No, blue cross. You know what is blue cross is? If you are keeping a dog or a cat or a cattle or a sheep at home, and if they report to the Blue Cross, they will come and file a case against you. And they say that you are assaulting or torturing them. So they all are pressure group. I'll give you a very good example. All of you probably know Body Shop. You all know Body Shop? A company called Body Shop. This company famous for manufacturing or producing what you call this cosmetics.
Beauty product.
Beauty products. Then they what they do used to do this in past. When they come up with a new product, let's say cream, Fair and Lovely cream. Now sooner they make the Fair and Lovely cream, and if they sell it to you and you apply it to your face, skin, and skin get spoils, big problem. No? Then if you go to courts, that's a big problem. What they used to do is, they used to catch a rabbit and then apply on the skin of the rabbit and see whether there is no harm to the rabbit's skin. Then only they bring it to the market. Then what happened? Some pressure group like what I am talking, they saw this and they went to courts and they filed a case against them and they had to pay a huge, hefty penalty. I really don't remember the amount, but a huge money. Then subsequently, they have written in every their materials, in their products, none of our products are tested on animals. Now that they only test directly with the humans, so be careful with what you are buying. So that's that. And Fair and Lovely advertisement. you'll remember that advertisement that was in Sri Lanka that time, how they marketed. Yeah, now what happens is, you see, in TV, this is a TV now.
Yeah.
What they do is, they show a very dark lady
Okay.
first, and then here they show fair and lovely, and they show that she is applying the fair and lovely to her face. Then they show the next screen. This lady becomes relatively fair, and then
Arabic point of view, opposite way.
that's exactly what I want to say. And this advertisement was very famous in India and Sri Lanka, and products were sold at a big level. But then they brought that to the Middle East, and the first lady was very fair here, and the last lady is very dark. Then these ladies in Middle East thought, what nonsense, if I buy and apply this, I will become even more darker. So then no one purchased it. So anyway, pressure group is one of the external stakeholders. Second stakeholder are general public. General public also one another pressure group who are external. Now let's say this sawmill example. In this sawmill example, the next to the sawmill people huddle. Next to the sawmill, people who live there, can they have any legal rights to go and disturb the business? They cannot. But they also have certain amount of right. They can write a petition. They can write a petition and they can create a disturbance. So another external stakeholder is general public. The third one is the government. Government also external. Okay, so you have internal employees, stakeholder conflict. Internal employees, management, external pressure groups, general public and government. All other examples you thought, shareholder, customer, supplier, banker, financial institutions, auditors, lawyers, anyone, now will say fit into this.
So for the internal only just to go,
Yes.
and external only just to go.
Exactly. The remaining everything will fall under connected. Understand? So we will stop at this point. You please stop the video.